Hey everybody, it's another fine day here in the Paranormal Portal where it's Halloween all year round. And yeah, it's always spooky up in here. I forgot to turn on the ghost radar. What is the date? It is the 12th. Okay. I'm going to turn on the ghost radar here for just a sec because I did forget that. Before I need reminding. See, I can be trained. How you doing? Are you? Good to see you. How are you? See what I did there? Thank you. Thank you. This chat name is Are You. So, or Rue. Rue or Are You? I don't know. You say the letters or you pronounce it. Either way, good to see you guys. Thank you all for joining me here on the portal. Brent walking out into the woods to the light. Trying to. Yeah, I always try to stay in the light. It's much happier place for me. I like the darkness, though. I don't mind dark. As long as I can see a little bit. I'm not a real big fan of pitch darkness, but it's because I can't see anything. It kind of takes the joy out of it. But anyway, hope you guys are doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here on this Saturday night and burning away part of your weekend with me. That is always an incredible pleasure, and I really appreciate your support, that you're taking a part of your time to hang out in the portal with me while we talk about all the weird and wonderful and crazy stuff of the world. Well, at least as it pertains. I said tertains. What the hell is that? As it pertains to the paranormal, supernatural, 40 topics, all of them. Yeah. And strange and unusual. So, where are we at? Well, I guess hey, Herman Vera, good to see you. Wizard Moon, Barbara Mora, and Rachel gets it right. Who else is here? Ron the Sage is in here. Grateful Owl's here. Isaac Areola, how you doing, Isaac? And everybody else, good to see you. And Grandizer's here. Rachel gets it right is here. I already said that, but I'll say it again. Again, Rue is here, or are you? Are you here? That's just the gift that keeps on giving. That chat name is awesome. All right, Barbara Mora's in YouTube and in Rumble, and Dog Digger's over there in Rumble as well with her. And who else? Who else is here? I'm just looking through the chats as they are appearing on the screen, or I'm scrolling back through them. Looks like there's a lot of chatting going on, but just our core audience here so far. We'll hopefully more people will show up and become part of the show. And hopefully, cross your fingers that everything goes technically well tonight. I don't know. It's just tech issues have been kind of my kryptonite lately. I don't know. Maybe it's the thinning of the veil. As they say around this time of year, it's the thinning of the veil. The veil is thinning between this world and the next, along with a whole bunch of solar flares and yeah, I mean, it's probably just bombarding us with all kinds of weirdness. There's definitely ghosts in the machine around here anyway, but it's been a little more intense lately. Don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's just the fact that everything is getting old here at the studio, including me, unfortunately. I feel really immature and young, but unfortunately, the chronological clock keeps ticking. And on the 9th, my older brother, not my oldest brother, but my older brother had a birthday. So happy birthday to Brother Brian. And I did talk to him as well. So I did my brotherly duty and talk to him. But yeah, I mean, we're just keep climbing the years. The years just keep going. As Naysay says, it's another lap around the sun. And that's kind of about it. When you get older, it just gets less and less exciting to get older. So I don't know. I don't know what it eventually means, but it's, we're all going to get older. It's just the way it works. But at any rate, we are going to be doing the news, of course. And then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. And then another article or two dealing with some ghosts. Might get to another article dealing with somebody seeing an armed reptilian, which was something I've had open for a while, and I was like, ooh, I forgot about this one. So we might get to it tonight, and then we might get to the cryptids as well. Like that, yeah, I was thinking about the armed reptilians. Does that count as a cryptid? And I don't think so. I think it's more extraterrestrial personally. So we'll probably encapsulate that one in its own right, along with ghost stories and stuff. But we'll see where the time goes and where we get to. I am competing with KX Kreider. Enigma Recon number 12 Devil's Holler Q&A. I guess he didn't get the memo. This is your time to go live. Well, I wish I could say nobody else could go live now, but that's just not fair or real. And so I can't say that this is the portal time. Everybody else just kiss my behind. Everybody's got a right to go live whenever they choose to. And I don't compete with anybody anyway. I mean, we just do our own thing here. I'm not trying to do a show like anyone else does. And I'm hoping nobody else tries to do a show like we do. This is kind of our unique take on paranormal shows. I'm not being dark and broody, and it's not just a yuck fest either. It's just somewhere in between. We're just having the discussions and conversations and trying to have a few laughs along the way. But I definitely don't like to make this stuff a joke. But sometimes you just got to laugh a little bit. So anyway, that's what's going up tonight on the agenda. So I hope you guys are ready, because we're going to dive into it. And one of the best ways to dive into anything is right at the start of your day. And as you well know by now, if you've been listening to these live shows, I've teamed up with the Magic Mind Company, who is an incredible company. They make these nutritional supplemental shots, basically. And they send them in these 15-day supplies. This is the box. It's very, very, very kind of art deco, almost Japanese, in the artwork that they use on here. It's very reminiscent of a Japanese styling to me. And I might be wrong. I'm not a worldly person in a lot of ways, but you get these orders, they come in these little shots. This is what a 15-day pack of Magic Mind shots looks like. And you get them, and basically, for me, I start my day with one of these, and you literally just pop it out, and this is it. It's a Magic Mind shot. And these things are really good. They're chock full of all kinds of good stuff for you. They're basically geared towards giving you energy, clarity, mental focus, reduce stress, and just give you a positive boost. And again, and I've said this every time I've talked about this promotion on the shows, but I'm really hesitant to endorse anything because it's my reputation. And I do take that very seriously, the show's reputation and mine specifically, that I'm not pushing snake oil on anybody, that I'll only promote things that I truly believe in. And when I first started talking to Magic Mind, they said, let's send you a sample. You can try them out. If you like it, then let's talk. And I did, and I got them, and I was just blown away. And these things are full of, these really responsibly sourced organic ingredients. There's no Franken foods or supplements in here. Not Franken supplements anyway. Everything is naturally derived, and it's good for you. Notwithstanding if you have any food allergies or things that only you know about, but just generally speaking. And I'm here to tell you, these really made a world of difference for me. So you crack them open and you give them a little shake just to make sure everything's all blended in there. You can refrigerate them, or you can just keep them at room temperature. That's the way I like them. I got, sensitive teeth. And besides, I don't have a fridge here in the studio. So you just take a shot. Cheers. And that's all there is to it. And these things really, really, really work well. They do an incredible job. I really feel like it's night and day for me personally. I feel like I've got a lot more energy, focus, clarity, and am ready to go. I really like this company, guys. I really like this product. I'm not telling you you have to or you should, but for me, it's been an incredible eye-opener, literally and figuratively. So give them a shot. The link that will help the show a bunch is this one, magicmind.com/portal. Now, I would recommend if you want to learn more about this company and the product that they're offering. They actually got a sleep version coming out too that's supposed to help you sleep, but I don't know. I haven't tried that one out, but go to magicmind.com. It does ship with this really good informational card, and it's got some good information here, but there's much more comprehensive information over on magicmind.com. But please, if you're going to order, this is a promotion. So, all full disclosure, I'm not just, doing this out of the goodness of my heart, although I would. I mean, I really do believe in this product. But if you do order it through the link that's right here on the screen. This does help the show. It helps me to keep the lights burning, keep putting resources towards making the shows better, expanding what we're doing. So if you're going to order, if you're going to test it out, please use the link that's on the screen. And it does help us. And a special thank you to Magic Mind for giving the portal a shot. I hope that some of you out there will give it a shot, or all of you. Hell, I don't know. But I know that it's pretty amazing stuff. Give it a shot. Get it. They're little shots as well. I thought that was clever. Anyway, thanks Magic Mind for letting us be a part of your world. And thanks for improving my world with every morning. All right, folks, that's the Magic Mind. So I hope you guys check it out. It's kind of an elixir. Kind of is. It's kind of like something in an apothecary of days of old. But it's very nutritional. It's very healthy. And it really is amazing. It works. So there it is. Make your own mind up. But that's Magic Mind. Make your own mind up. But if you want a Magic Mind, check it out. All right. Let's get back to the rest of the show here. Rim shot 2. Absolutely, Rachel. Never too many rim shots in a show. So let's get to the news and find out just what the hell's going on. I think I got 3 articles to cover today on the news, and then we'll get to the question of the week from Mr. Chucky Danger and see what he threw at you guys this week. And then we'll see what you had to say about it. There's still time, by the way, if you haven't done the question of the week on our Discord. The link is in the description below. Check it out. If you're not already a member of our Discord, become a member. That'd be great. You can head to the question of the week thread in our server and field a question. See what you think. There's no wrong answers. Nobody knows. So at any rate, I put in Portal too, but don't know if it went through right. What's that, Karen? I'm sorry. What did Karen say? I got some of that too. Haven't gotten it yet though. Oh, okay. When did you order, Karen? I'm just curious. let me know when that was. And if any of you order, if you want to let me know, that way I can kind of make sure that the show is getting credit for those sales. But yeah, let me know when you ordered, Karen, if you would. You can do it via email or here in the chat if I see it, but that will help me to kind of audit this on a personal level. I don't know. I think they're a great company. Right after you told us about it, which the first day? Okay. Well, I'll have to find out. All right. But anyway, I guess we're going to continue on to the news. Thank you, by the way, Karen. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I hope you do love it. I really do love this stuff. Let's get to the news and see what's going on in the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Paranormal Portal News, and I'll be your anchor, Brent Thomas, and we will talk about a few news stories that are coming your way. Hopefully they're entertaining and good, or at least you learned something you didn't already know, or, had a good time being a part of it, whatever the hell the position is. I like doing the news because I like these stories. Happy Saturday night to you too, Todd. Thanks for coming in. Loving the show. Outstanding. Thank you. I hope you've subscribed. If you haven't, please do. I will be taking attendance. Just kidding. I have no way to know. But yeah, I really appreciate all the love and support from all you guys. In fact, the first up in our news is the fact that we're just about to turn 14,000 subscribers, which, and again, in the world of YouTube is incredibly small. But I'm really proud of that number because I don't advertise this show at all. It's just, I just love doing the shows. And so many of you guys have tuned in. Now, what I will tell you is that YouTube is driving me absolutely bonkers because every time it's about to tick another 1,000, like when it went from ever since 5,000 and on is when I really started noticing this. But every time it was going to go like to 6,000, to 7, to 8, every time it gets that near that 1,000 marker, suddenly the subs go down and then they go up and then they go down and then they go up. And it drives me freaking mad. I don't know what the hell's causing it, but I'm here to tell you, I look at that all the time and it makes me insane. It's like, how do we go plus 10, plus 5, plus 12, plus 20 some days? It's always plus something every day, except when I get close to that 1,000 marker, then it just freezes and it's just like, God, it just drives me nuts. I'm being a little theatrical here, but it really does perplex me to no end. So I don't know what that means if YouTube's like, you're not getting that mark yet. Or if it's just just some kind of audit going on. I don't know. But it just happens every time we're about to click the next 1,000. It's like, really? How is that so absolutely consistent every time? Just, there's got to be something up with that. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know enough to know for sure, but it's definitely raising my hackles every time. So if you know somebody that wants to subscribe and can give me about 10 more subs, I'd really appreciate it. Hey, Devin, good to see you. Hey, yo, Devin says. Hey, yo, everyone. All right, so we're going to get into the news stories now. I will tell you, as I tell you every show or ask of you, is that you please support the sites that we visit on this site or on the shows. We cover a lot of different sites. These sites are doing incredible stuff, so please give them your love, give them your traffic, give them your time and attention when you're not watching a live show, because every one of these sites is full of amazing information and it's so well done, and I really want to support them as much as we can because they've been an incredible resource to us on the show. So the least we can do is try to raise awareness of these sites so that you guys can check them out. So please check them out, give them your love and attention, and help them to keep the lights on. Because I don't know what I'd do without some of these sites, especially this first site. This is called unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is a personal favorite of mine just because it's so timely, relevant, and punctual with new information. And it's every day. There's just a series of new things going on. So let's check this out. The first story is coming from Ghosts and Hauntings on unexplained-mysteries.com. And this story is kind of interesting. Let's see what's going on. I don't even know. I just saw the headline today. I was like, what? So let's see what's going on. The headline says, unusual paranormal abuse case in Spain involved mystic or psychic medium, rather. I don't know what paranormal abuse case is, but let's find out. I mean, I don't know if this guy was abusing people under the guise of paranormal stuff or what. It sounds really creepy, but let's find out. It says the victim's ex-boyfriend had reportedly faked paranormal activity and had even hired a medium to scare her. In an unusual case out of Valencia, Spain this week, police had been investigating claims that a woman's former partner had resorted to what had been described as paranormal abuse. Wow. This is like a world first here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, according to the reports, the 41-year-old woman had been suffering at the hands of her ex-partner, who went as far as to hire a psychic medium solely to frighten her. In one incident, she witnessed a painting in her house levitating in the air above a table before falling back down, while in another, she heard distinct footsteps behind the wall, and her ex-partner had claimed that he'd experienced some sort of vision of her recently deceased father. She was told that her father's ghost had warned that if she left her partner, she would die. Oh my God. Oh, what a sick bastard. The alleged phenomena also included objects being moved and a glass bust bursting into pieces. The woman even returned home one day to find her house had been ransacked. The case is quite unusual as it is not at all common to hear of someone using faked paranormal activity in order to harass and intimidate. I think it was intimidate is what they were going for here. Someone, especially not in this context. Fortunately for the woman, however, her ordeal came to an end when her ex-partner was arrested by the police for domestic violence and a restraining order was taken out forbidding him from going near her. Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. That's twisted as hell. I mean, come on. I mean, if you can't hang on to somebody because of the merits of your heart and the investment in the relationship and just being a good partner, I mean, good God, what kind of narcissistic hell is this? No, you got to stay with me. The spirit said so. Oh, mind games. Well, I'm glad she found her way clear of it. That's just disturbing as hell, though. I mean, to appeal to her maybe fear of the paranormal. I don't know. That is just strange as all get out, though. There's always some in every club. I don't know. You know, it almost sounds, actually, it sounds cult-like, to be honest with you. No, the spirits say we must stay together. It's for the family, for the cult. That's really creepy stuff. And I hope that guy can learn from his mistakes. I don't know, but I'm betting, I guess of all the mind games, though, why that? Why that? Just be a good person, for God's sakes. And if it doesn't work out, well, you gave it your all. I mean, Lord knows I've got a bunch of, failed relationships, but I never once thought, hey, should I blame the spirits? Should I scare them? I mean, why would you do that? I don't know. Very, very, very creepy stuff. Very, very creepy people out there, though, too. So that's a sick story for sure, because she was more fearful of that, probably. Yeah, probably, but that's just so broken. I mean, it's so broken. And just to resort to theatrics like that. I mean, there are aggressive hauntings, but I mean, come on. I really feel bad for her, because chances are she was probably really beside herself with terror because of all this stuff going on. Perhaps. Or maybe she saw through it all the time and just went, oh my God, this guy's such a loser. What was I thinking? I don't know. Oh, Devin came a member. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support and love. All right. Well, that was the first story. Disturbing as hell, but it's the first story. I didn't know what paranormal abuse was, but now I know. And it's not paranormal abuse. It's just it's a scam. It's a hoax. That's just terrible. So to include the word paranormal in there sucks, because it's just not fair to the rest of us. All right. We're going to head to unexplainedmysteries.com for the second story as well. And this is coming from the space and astronomy files. And this one's, I don't know what the hell we're looking at here. Okay. So full disclosure, I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of people looking through NASA photos of like Mars from the rovers and stuff. And this is particularly relevant to this next story. I've seen some really weird stuff. Amber H. Raven. Oh, she received a gift from Batman. Very cool. Thank you, Batman. Appreciate that. So I know people are going through these images from the rovers and from NASA, from the orbiters and all kinds of things. And they find some strange anomalies. And some of them are truly compelling. Like that weird crab-looking thing on Mars, or the doorway thing, or any number of other oddities and stuff. Now, I've been sent many pictures through the years from different people that are researching or looking into this phenomena of possibly being something. Some of this stuff I think is very interesting and may absolutely be indicative of a former civilization on Mars. I mean, what the hell do I know? It looks like stuff. It looks like there's foundations to buildings there. Absolutely, geometrically square rocks. That doesn't seem to be potential for, looking like the foundation of a building that's no longer there. And so maybe some kind of cataclysm happened in a long, long distance past on the surface of Mars. But there are other things that people send me. It's like, I don't know. I can't see this stuff. And to me, the thing is that, I've said this many times throughout the history of the show, is that if you want to present something as evidence, it should really look like evidence. Once it requires you to start including red circles, it gets to be really ambiguous and really like pareidolia, because nature does approximate a lot of things here on Earth that look like they could be representative of other things, like different faces on cliff walls or mountains or hills that seem to approximate the shape of things. Like it's as old as time. People seeing meaningful shapes in nature, and it's being done on Mars too. So I'm just trying to reiterate that if something is evidence, it really should stand on its own merits visually as evidence. It shouldn't need to be explained. But I do understand also that if there was something going on Mars, it's probably been millions of years old and is maybe not sitting out there in the wide open for everybody to see. It's probably obscured by layers of dust and debris, and there's all kinds of weather events there. But it isn't impossible that things can just look like something and not be something. Again, I get really cautious about a confirmation bias. I think we all have it. We'd all like it to be real, and it may very well be, because there are some images there that just boggle your mind. Like how did that just happen naturally? But there's other stuff that I don't think is quite as compelling and is suggestive of potentially being something, maybe, but it's certainly not as crystal clear. And I think this article is going to be showcasing one of those in my estimation. But let's read it and see what you guys think. All right, this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Weird skull-like face photographed by rover on the surface of Mars. I don't know where that is. I was looking at this image a little bit. Maybe this is it. I don't know. But it looks like it could be a couple nostrils, but this doesn't look like an eye socket. If it's this, unless I'm missing it here. But let's read the article and see what it says. NASA recently featured this photograph, which shows a strange face-like formation on its website. It might not be quite as iconic as the face on Mars photographed over the Cydonia region of Mars by NASA's Viking orbiters back in the 70s, but this modern-day equivalent, which was spotted by the Perseverance rover recently, has still been raising eyebrows this week. Featured as NASA's official image of the week, the photo was taken back on September 27th. This person's drinking olive oil. I'm like, what the hell's that image? On the left-hand side of the frame, it is possible to see a skull-like human face, complete with large empty eye sockets, a nose and a mouth, lying sideways in the dust. I guess that is it. I mean, it does kind of look like it could be a face, but it could just be, I don't know, something else. I don't know. It actually does look a bit like Bonnie. What the hell's Bonnie? A talking skull from obscure 1980s British children's show Trap Door. Let us know in the comments if you got this reference. I did not. In reality, the face is likely to be little more than pareidolia, a tendency for the human brain to perceive meaningful shapes in abstract patterns. We've certainly seen plenty of examples of this on Mars over the years, ranging from faces to skulls to giant crabs, and even the outline of Beaker from the Muppets. See, I don't think the giant crab is necessarily in the same category, because that was very, very unique on the landscape to a great degree. With its barren landscape strewn with randomly shaped boulders, rocky outcrops, and other geological features, it's perhaps not surprising that Mars has proved to be a prime location for this phenomena. Well, certainly, I mean, if you've got maybe billions or more of these rocks laying around like this, yeah, you're going to find some things that, it's like looking at the clouds and seeing a horse or seeing a pig or, whatever. I mean, you're going to eventually see things that look just like something, but they're just, the mechanics of weather or whatever. And so I imagine the same could be said for any of this stuff, but do I think that's a skull? No, I don't personally. It is peculiar that it does really have a nose there and a mouth. I'm not so sure what all of this is. I guess they're saying this looks like an eye socket, but I don't think so. I think it's just a shadow, and this is a bump to another bump. But there are some parts of that seem curious, but I still don't think it's probably the actual head of something that long dead. So anyway, I don't know. I still like looking at those kind of things because I think it's interesting. So I'm not asking those people that do send them to stop. It's just that, again, for something to be really presented as evidence, it should look really like evidence. And maybe that's impossible for something like this. It is surprising how washed out this picture is, though. You'd think they would have better filters or whatever on their cameras so that it wouldn't look like, it was almost a potato camera. But anyway, I'm sure they probably downscale the resolution a lot between when they take the image and when they actually post something. So that's probably a part of it. But anyway, there you go. Second article. What do you think? Do you think that Mars could have had an advanced civilization and these are potentially parts of that civilization that are still apparently visible on the surface of the planet? Or do you think it's all just pareidolia? Let me know in the comments or in the chat, wherever. Mars is a conundrum, I think. We will never truly know until we get to the surface. Yeah, probably true, Ron. That's a good point. Hi, Sarah in disguise. Good to see you. Glad you came in. Looks like a hoof on the right. Yeah, this does, doesn't it? This here does look like a hoof. But again, it's just a striation on a rock of some kind. And I mean, is it impossible that these are actually, again, remnants of an old civilization? Maybe not. I mean, what the hell do I know? If something's been weathering for millions of years, then maybe this was a statue and this is what's left of that statue. And maybe the hoof was part of the depiction, like kind of like a minotaur or something like that. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. And I don't know what happened on Mars to wreck whatever was there, but something I'm pretty sure happened there at some point. It just seems like there's a lot that's gone on there. Maybe that was where we came from. Who knows? I mean, I've heard that possibility, that when Mars was dying due to maybe a huge war of some kind, technological war that scarred the planet and destroyed the atmosphere, maybe the remnants of the peoples from Mars came here. And that's why we're not really suited for here very well. But at any rate, it's anybody's guess. It's all speculation, and I don't pretend to know anything. I just hear these things, so I just regurgitate them for you. Do I believe that's possible? Hell, anything's possible. Honestly, I don't pretend to know. But there it is. That's article number 2. I think those are interesting, though. So if you are one of the people that send me stuff, please keep sending me. I like looking at them. It's just, I can't, weigh in with any kind of certainty on anything, but I like looking at stuff when people send it. So last article for the news tonight, and this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com as well. And this one has to do with creatures, myths, and legends. And this is, interestingly enough, we just recently talked about a huge radar blip that was caught on one of the cruises that goes on Loch Ness, or research vessels. I'm not sure which. But anyway, they caught a really big blip, and it looked like it might be really something sizable, but it was very ambiguous on their sonar, on their radar, their fish finder, basically. But apparently there's another one. So let's look again and see what this one's talking about. Another underwater anomaly has been detected in Loch Ness. I'm just looking at the screen. What could this be? A school of fish? Maybe? I don't know. Is this what they're talking about? I don't know. Let's see what they say. A Loch Ness research vessel has picked up a significant underwater presence in the depths of the loch. Just a few days after seasoned Loch Ness skipper Sean Sloggy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've never seen that name before, so Sloggy, captured a strange underwater object on his sonar. The Loch Ness Center's Deep Scan cruise vessel has reported the detection of a peculiar underwater anomaly that nobody has been able to explain. The vessel, which is equipped with sophisticated radar technology, I guess it's not just a fish finder then, picked up something strange approximately 200 meters beneath the surface, between Urquhart Castle and Fort Augustus back on October 3rd. The fact that 2 anomalies have been detected in Loch Ness within the space of a week makes this an intriguing find indeed. These radar readings have raised many questions about what lurks in the depths of Loch Ness, said Loch Ness Center General Manager Nagina Ishak. I hope, again, another name I hope I'm pronouncing right. Our deep scan cruise is consistently aimed to deepen our understanding of the loch's ecosystem, and this finding shows that there are still many unknowns about the loch. We are currently working with Loch Ness researchers to conduct further analysis of these readings, which hopefully mark a major milestone in the search for Nessie. I think that'd be great if they found it. I just wish I knew what I was looking at for sure. I guess we could look at the video. It's hosted on X. I don't know if it's MFR News and Sport, if that's the people posting it, but we can check it out. It says, Nessie hunters have made a significant finding after searching for the mythical creature. Loch Ness Center says radar system for their deep scan cruise has recorded a distinct anomaly in the loch. Again, I want to see. All right, so this is 100 to 200 meters. So what we're looking at here is probably about, I don't know, I guess it'd be about a 50, this would be 50 meters, so maybe a 25, 30, or 40 meter as far as the height of this from the bottom, if this is the anomaly. I assume it must be because that's a screenshot, but so that might be a 40 meters, and that's pretty significant, whatever it is. Now, I don't know what it should look like if it was something like a school of fish. What does a school of fish look like on this sonar? And they could be pretty sizable. Or what does a solid thing look like on sonar? Like, say, a submerged tree. I wish that we would have those examples, and maybe it's in the video. Let's have a look at this and see what it says. I don't know what this is. I'm just going to play it quick, and we're going to take a peek.
Oh, is that Nessie, is it?
That's plenty loud. Holy Lord. That is it. I guess that's it right there. I mean, it's not the greatest capture, but they're just recording the screen of the sonar. But I mean, it does look big. Whatever it is, it looks big, so it could be. I don't know. I guess it's anybody's guess, but there you have it. 2 unusual anomalies found in Loch Ness within a week's time. This was posted on the 10th, so 2 days ago. So I don't know. Kind of exciting stuff, really. I was crushed when NASA canceled all their manned deep space exploration missions. Huh. I didn't know they did. I didn't know they had any, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Elon Musk will probably be who will put people on Mars first. It just seems like he's really geared up and jonesing to get going on that. So I think it's fantastic. Very cool. I just wish we'd figure out a way to travel faster than, taking months and months to get somewhere. Just stay within our solar system, of all places. It's like, oh, I want to shoot out to the stars. I want to be like on the Enterprise and just, let's go. Let's go see the Romulans. I'm just kidding. They didn't like us much, apparently. At least that's what I saw from the show. All right, well, there you go. That's the last news story for tonight. Interesting. Two anomalies detected. What do you think? What do you think? Is there a Loch Ness Monster or a Champ or Ogopogo or any of the other ones? I think there's something to this. I don't know if it's some kind of plesiosaur like is commonly believed or if it's something else, but at any rate, there's lots of hidden lunkers in these bodies of water around, and God only knows what's underneath the oceans, let alone these huge inland lakes and lochs. God only knows. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of the show and find out what the hell's going on with the question of the week. All right, hang on. We're going back in. Good point, Rachel. That's where they should have gone instead of the Titanic. Should have taken it to Loch Ness. The problem with Loch Ness, I think, is that it's just a very sedimentary body of water. So it's not like, even if you're under there in a submersible, you still only have a small field of vision. But it would be neat if they could develop, I don't know, maybe a technology that would allow you to really get a pretty high definition image from a sonar send rather than blobs and masses, these nebulous masses. We don't know what it is. It's just something under the water. Well, what is it? I don't know. Nobody knows. It's a blob. Wouldn't it be neat though if we could get an accurate picture? I mean, think like bats and probably dolphins as well. They use a lot of sonar, and whales and other things, but I'm betting that they get a pretty specific picture of what they're picking up. Like bats, I'm pretty sure that they probably know the difference between a mosquito and, let's say, a beetle or something like that as they hit it with their sonar. I don't know what kind of mental image they get if they get it really detailed, but when you think about what is it? I mean, sonar is just basically bouncing, something out and then waiting for it to come back to see if something's there. But it's just this very rudimentary abstract shapes. So there's no way to define it. It's just, you can say something is there, but we have no idea what it is. So wouldn't it be neat if we could get truly a three-dimensional image from sonar returns and a very detailed three-dimensional image? That to me would be incredible. I think that'd be amazing. I think Nessie is possible, just like Champ in New York, Vermont Lake, that technically has ocean access. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, again, there's lots of stuff out there. But you're right, a submersible would be a great secondary thing to have on these. Oh, we picked up this anomaly. Okay, well, let's go down there. And then rather than shooting down sonar from up above, maybe they could shoot it out at a lateral along with the up above one, and maybe they could get a more detailed image of what they're looking at. Maybe it could be mapped better. Maybe that's part of it, because when they're just floating on the surface and shooting the sonar down, it's going to interrupt the waves and send it back just a little bit quicker, so it'll detect that something's there. But maybe if they had more than one direction and would, somehow combine those two to create more of a 3D image, it seems like there's got to be something. Like all technology, it may exist on military submarines, but for scientific purposes, it may be a few years away. Like all advanced technology. Yeah, that's a good point. It is. Why don't they invest in having some reverse sonar? Like maybe have the beacons on the bottom shooting up, and then, it may and then have some on the surface. Like do a sonar net where there would be submerged anchored beacons constantly shooting up, and then floating ones above it that would shoot down, and then in real time between the two, and maybe some lateral ones here and there about halfway. Then they could get maybe this image, like a way to position within a box. I mean, it would have to be figured out, but I mean, if they could do that for sections of the lake, then maybe they could get some pretty robust mapping of what it is they're picking out, and be able to, maybe generate a 3D image of what that is. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just talking out my butt mostly. I don't know anything. But it just occurs to me that might work. Whatever that's worth. Drake number 1 says sonars. Yeah. Have it multi-directional, though. I think there's something to that. If something were to use LiDAR on the lake, I don't know if LiDAR would work, though, because it uses infrared beams, and I'm sure that the water would prismatically affect that. So I'm not sure if you could LiDAR water in the same aspect. I mean, even currents moving through the water would create distortions in the water flow, or temperatures, or whatever. Those heat waves that you get when you look down a hot summer road and it looks like you're seeing water and there's no water. It's the mirage effect. I think that's probably true in water as well. So just some thoughts, but who knows? Educated speculation. Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, all ideas are just as valid as anyone else. Blue Line Bigfoot, how you doing, buddy? So Much Jake is here. Good to see you, brother. Blue Line Bigfoot's in the house. All right, so we're going to get to the Discord at this point, because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the next part of our journey into the portal. What part is that, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Looks a little something like this. Or like this. And then it goes like this. Because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Discord question of the week, and we're going to dive into what question was asked this week by our very own Mr. Chucky Danger, who is an excellent friend and has been doing an amazing job keeping this up every week for me and for us. So thank you, Chucky. As always, appreciate that a whole lot. But tonight's question, this is the Discord, by the way, in case you're new to Discord and not really familiar with it. This is what it looks like. Here's the Paranormal Portal Discord. And this looks like this when you first sign in, and you'll be brought to this tab when you first get in here. And Chucky did some Aurora Borealis pictures. Very nice. Very nice. And then you can catch up on what's going on. I'm just looking to see if anyone knew. Oh, Devin made it in. Good to see you, Devin. And he's here tonight as well. So wonderful. Very cool. And some more Aurora Borealis pictures. Very nice. Yeah, I've seen in my life, I've seen some incredible Aurora Borealis. The most amazing display I ever saw was when I was in Michigan. And it was like the whole sky was this dome of these radiant, beautiful lights. And at one point, the entire night sky filled with this shimmering colors. And I swear to God, I was sitting with my cousin Paul, and we were sitting on the hood of the car looking up out in this field in the middle of nowhere in Lapeer, Michigan, of all places. And we're looking at the night sky, and it looked like it coalesced. So there's this dome of color, and there was like this hole in the top of it. And in this hole appeared this figure. It looked like a glowing angel. It was just amazing. And I've never seen anything to compare with that since. It was just incredible. And it was before cell phones, or before I had cell phones. I think there was some version of cell phones, but none of them had cameras, and they looked like the size of a hiking boot. You know, they were huge things. That was the cell phones back then, but God, it was just amazing. It was the most beautiful display of the Northern Lights I've ever seen in my life. I saw them a lot in Minnesota. We'd see them all the time, every year. Go out and see the Northern Lights, usually in the late summer, fall, like now, would be when we would normally see them back home. But for some reason, they're not really that prevalent here, and I'm more north than I was in Minnesota, but something about it. They're just not as prevalent up here. Hello, Heather. Heather Caulfield, good to see you. Thank you for coming in, and hope you get subscribed. Great to see you. Always great to see new names. I'm very excited about that. They're beautiful in the Upper Penn. Is that Peninsula, or is that Pennsylvania? What do you mean by Upper Penn? Is that Peninsula or Pennsylvania? Let me know. Yeah, it's good to see all of you guys. Thank you. So we're going to get to the Discord question of the week, and navigating Discord is really easy. You literally have all the discussion threads over here, and you just click on it. We're going to go to the discussion. Let me just make sure if anybody else popped in. Oh, somebody else did. A wild 070523 popped in. Good to see ya. Thanks for joining the Discord. That's a pretty creative name. Sarah in Disguise came in. Good to see you. Yeah, you made it. Weird Nerd 42 came in, and another Devin came in. I wonder if they're related. I'm betting you're probably related. But anyway, what we're curious about tonight is question of the week. And this is a question that Chucky asks all of you, all of our Discord community, and anybody can weigh in on it. There's no wrong answers. Don't be embarrassed to just tell us what you think. Again, with any of this stuff, there's no answers at all, really. There's just ideas. There's just theories, and there's no reason your theory isn't just as valid as anyone's theory. So don't be afraid to put it out there. I've heard some incredibly brilliant takes on some stuff that I would have never considered by reading this thread right here. So don't be embarrassed to throw it out there, because, you know, I love the idea of many people coming together to discuss things and maybe coming up with things that individually we may never have gotten to. So let's see what the question is this week. It's from Chucky. Cattle mutilations have long confused and frightened people, with organs of the body parts body parts being removed with laser precision. The purpose of these removals have mystified us. Of your own opinion, what do you think is causing these animal mutilations, and what purpose may it serve? Great question. Great question. I've always wondered this very thing. Why do they keep doing this? I've shared it on the show before too, but when I interviewed George Norrie, he had a pretty good take, and I kind of like where he came at with this. So I'll put that in at the end. Cryptic Chaos came in first and said, I think they're using them for experiments. Oh, that's what George said. So never mind. I think they're using them for experiments as to gain experience before they move on to humans, and maybe their own species. Like how they do medical experiments on animals before they start doing trials on humans, and later on releasing it to the public if they have good enough results, or stop if the animal testing shows that it's way too harmful or dangerous. Great take. That's close to what George said, but I'll include George's take at the end. Sinfully Wicked comes in next, says, one part of me feels that a lot could be due to government and secret military experiments, normal predation, cults, etc. The paranormal side of me feels that it could be cryptid predators like Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and the like. And this question reminds me of a story I read a while back about a horse named Snippy. His death occurred in 1967. Good question. And hopefully someday we'll get the truth about these occurrences. Wow, I'd never heard about Snippy, but I'd be interested. If you got a link, please send that as well. I'd love to hear about Snippy. I don't know what that reference is, so very cool. Eric, the Wandering Purple Hobbit, comes in next, says probably illegals. I don't know. I don't know what this word is. Not be the Von from the stars, or those practicing witchcraft or other satanic worship. I don't know. I mean, again, the thing that really differentiates animal mutilations is the fact that they're bloodless. I mean, it's like these bodies didn't bleed out when they were cut. It was like the blood was already gone, and then tissues were taken or pieces were taken. I don't know. It's very strange. So let's get to the next one. Inner Underbelly says it's a diversion. We know the military elite and the power elite are privy to tech and science well beyond our current throttled understanding. They're jingling keys in our faces with one hand and trafficking. Oh, well, I don't want to get into that stuff so much on this show. Wormhole technology with the other. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like to go deep into the conspiracy part of it, honestly, because I don't know enough to really weigh in on that. And I'm certainly aware of the conspiracy claims, but I just don't know. I just don't know. And it's certainly not the scope of our show to dive into that stuff. ZX81V2 puts a link in here. Cattle mutilation, a horrible big picture, Professor Simon Holland. So you're welcome to head into there and check out that link that he posted. Karen Alberting comes in next, says, I have no idea who or what caused the cattle mutilations. I know there have been a bunch in a lot of areas, and the ones in the San Juans I know of are pretty well known, or at least they were. I'm pretty sure it's something nefarious having to do with the government, or they at least know the cause. I think a good part can be explained away by birds or predators, but you can't really explain the absence of blood. The predators just finished the cleanup and took advantage of the free food left by whatever left the carcasses. All in all, like UFOs and such, I'm pretty sure the government knows exactly what is going on, whether it be UFOs or some sort of weird cryptid. I don't think they themselves did it, because why would they? That is weird, but they do know, and I'm rambling on, so I'll end it there. Rambling is fine. We love rambling, don't worry. And it wasn't really rambling. Rachel 101 comes in. That's Rachel gets it right in the chats, in case you didn't know. I don't know who or what is causing these mutilations, and I think I heard that the tissues removed may contain traces of certain contaminants, radioactive material, or heavy metals. It could be aliens. It could be time travelers. Excuse me. Time travelers testing tissues to see where we went wrong and adjusting for that in a parallel timeline. The military could buy their own cattle and do these experiments on their own bases out of the sight of the public, unless the military is performing very long-term psychological series of experiments. One of the first mutilations, I believe, was a horse called Snippy. Okay, there's another reference to Snippy. I've never heard of that before. Very cool. That was October 5th, 1967, unless it's been debunked. So for nearly 60 years, it may be a psychological test on human nature, alien studies, or humans from the future, or a parallel dimension. Fair enough. I mean, that could very well be. I'm interested in Snippy, though. And here's the other thing, though. That may be the first one that was ever reported as being anomalous, but like with Bigfoot sightings and every other hauntings and every other part of the paranormal, there's probably only a small percentage of things ever get reported. And there's so many more people experiencing stuff that will never come forward. So I don't know if that's really, I think it's the first reported maybe, but I really doubt that that's the first ever was Snippy, this horse, I guess. I'm interested in learning more about that, though. Barbara Mora comes in next, and I'm thinking it's combined with efforts between ETs and shadow government. Aliens need a blood component from the cattle, and the government provides where and when to harvest cattle. Also finding mutilated cattle in unusual places, such as on barn roofs, or with broken bones as if the cattle had been dropped from a significant height, is disturbing. Yeah, absolutely. So what George said really played along with what you guys were talking about with experiments, and he thought that perhaps they're doing long-term experiments as these aliens. Like maybe they're testing for pathogens or something in our tissues, or perhaps they're doing things covertly on our planet, and they're testing the results of that, or they're testing the results of what we're doing on our planet by investigating some of the local animal and wildlife. So it's hard to know, but I mean, that's as good a take as any. Again, when these things happen, they are literally almost, I mean, just like boom, they just happen. And then people find these things, and they're again, the laser precision on the incisions, the lack of blood from these animals being cut, like they're being cut and pieces removed, but there's no bleed out. So it's like they were already drained of that blood. But then, you know, what is the course of that? And soft tissues are removed in a lot of cases. Where are they? They should be around, or at least remnants of them. Or if it was a predation thing, then there should be visible marks on the body to show that something was there chewing on it. But in a lot of cases, they aren't. They look like they were surgically removed. Eyes, tongues, part of the facial construction is just like sliced and removed, and it's just a bone. It's incredible. Whatever it is, it's incredible. So, again, great takes, everybody. Thank you all for putting in your 2 cents and weighing in on this. Again, there's no wrong answers, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. The discussions are always incredible here on the portal. So good to see everybody saying hi to the Devons and everyone else that joined us. So great to see you guys. Weird Nerd and Devon and one more, another Devon. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the Discord question of the week, but please, if you want to be a part of it, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just download Discord if you don't already have one, and use the link that's in the chat, or in the description rather. And if somebody wants to copy that and paste it in the chat, I appreciate that. That saves me a little trouble. I think aliens are trying to change our DNA. That could be, Josh. I mean, hell, that's as good an idea as any, really. That's very possible. I don't know what it is. Maybe it has to do with their hybrid program that they're doing, that they're allegedly doing, I should say. You know, the people are claiming that they're working on hybrids between them and us. And maybe that's part of their program, is to, you know, test on the tissues of these animals. And obviously on the people as well, to some degree, although people aren't usually dealing with being drained of blood and sliced up that we know of. But in any case, very interesting. Same Devon, by the way. This is just my actual Discord. Okay, gotcha. Well, it's nice to have you in both of these Devons. Brent, I posted a link in chat about Snippy. In here or in the Discord? Where did you do it? I probably won't be able to reference it here on the show just because I got to keep moving forward. But if you put it on Discord, I'd really appreciate it. That'll help, because then I can reference it at my leisure. I don't know why I said leisure. It just came to me. It just sounded sophisticated, so I said it. All right. So that was the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And thank you, Chucky Danger, for all you do, brother. I appreciate you continuing to make the question of the week amazing with these awesome, thought-provoking questions. They're great. And special thanks to all of our mods and admins all over the place, whether it's here on YouTube or on Rumble or on Twitch or on our Discord. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all you do for the shows. I don't thank you guys enough, but it really does mean the world to me. You guys are the best in the business. There's no question. So it's all about the blood. You're probably right. I've heard that cow blood is incredibly similar to human blood, or maybe has some of this, very, very closely matching. Some people have suggested it might be used in their hybrid program to create a medium for building hybrids. I don't know. I mean, what the hell do I know? Yeah, awesome mods for sure. We have the best. We have the best. Let's get to the rest of our show, though, because we got a lot more to cover. What time is it, by the way? I should look. It's already 8:07. God, time goes fast. All right, let's close this up. Here we go. There we go. That's the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you to everybody that took the time to be a part of that. I love that segment. I mean, I just would never think of everything that you guys come up with. I love that we all just share ideas. And that's, always the Paranormal Portal is always a discussion first. Sometimes I get shit posts. I said shit posts. Sorry. Sometimes they sneak out. And people are like, oh, Brent, when can I post? When can I post a Discord question of the week? You can put it in a message to Chucky and just say, hey, Chucky, what do you think of this question? So if you direct message Chucky, that'd probably be the best way, or just put it in the Discord question of the week thread yourself and just, highlight it as, hey, potential question for a future question of the week. I appreciate that. That would be awesome. I have one I really want to ask, but if you want to just send it directly to Chucky, that's fine too, or directly to me and I'll send it to Chucky, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I appreciate it. Anyway, any of you guys, if you got a great question you'd like to ask or have asked on the Discord question of the week, let either myself or Chucky know, or Sheldon Boonabar. Boonabar in the Discord is Sheldon. So he's the one that made our Discord and set it all up. And he's also who you should message if you'd like to see another discussion thread created. Like if there's something that you want to have people talk about, but we don't already have that topic outlined, let Sheldon know and he can do that. So Brent, it's posted in Discord in the episode discussion thread. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. I will look up more about Snippy. I get a little snippy. I'm getting a little snippy here. I don't like to be snippy. All right, so let's see. What are we doing next? What time is it? 8:08? 8:09? 8:09. Okay. Let's see. I want to hit some of these articles, but I kind of want to hit this one first because I've had it open for a while. And then we'll get into the ghosts, and then we'll get into some maybe one or two cryptid stories. I got a couple of great ones again. So we'll do that now. We're going to head to an article, and this is from phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lon Strickler's site. He's just done an incredible job on this site. It is so well done, and he's posting several articles every day. Every day, these are either accounts that are sent to him or he's referred to them from somebody saying, hey, you should put this account on your website. There's just thousands and thousands of encounter stories over there. Lon has been hard at this for literally decades. Lon is an incredible pillar of the paranormal community and has been for a long time. So head over to phantomsandmonsters.com, support what he's doing. You can check out his published works over there. Lon has several books that are absolutely actively in being published or are actively available for purchase. And Lon has done an incredible job with that. And he also has a podcast himself. And it's a great show. It is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And I'm here to tell you, he does also have a live stream. And that's on YouTube. And you can tune into that. I think it's on Friday nights, actually, just before the portal goes live by like the hour earlier. But he goes into a lot of these articles, or at least some of these articles, or has a topic that he discusses on there. Lon does a great job. So please support what he's doing in every way you can. It's just wonderful. And he's given us his blessing to, reference his site on our show. So I'm very grateful for that. So special thanks to Lon Strickler. I appreciate that a bunch. And we're going to get to this article because, again, I've had it open for a while and I haven't read it, but it's like, oh my God, what would this be like? Well, here you go. This is kind of I'm going to, rather than including this in the cryptids, I think this is more of an extraterrestrial encounter or extra dimensional. I don't know. Wherever these lizard-like people come from, I think they may be from the stars. They might be from another dimensional reality or from the multiverse somewhere. Who knows? But this is an encounter that was sent to Lon, or or he at least recorded, and it apparently has photos. I don't know what the photos are, but we'll get to it together because this is phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, forgot to turn that off. I'm a little derelict in my own duties here. I always do that one, though. I got to figure out a different way to cue those up. Maybe I should hotkey those so I don't have to click them on and then click them off again. But anyway, this is from October 3rd of this year. Photos, truck driver approached by armed reptilian near Yuma, Arizona. I don't even know what that would be like. I mean, what would you do? Well, I mean, first thing you got to be thinking is, yeah, right. Who's this idiot? Because if it was in daylight, even if it's in night, you'd be thinking, oh, who's this schmuck? What's he doing dressed up like that? You know, I would think you would have to go right to that. Unless it was just so clearly bigger than a person and be like, yeah, you know, how'd they pulling that off? But anyway, let's see what it says. Truck driver RB details his bizarre encounter with an armed reptilian outside of Yuma, Arizona in 2002. He offers photos and sketches as well. He says, I'm RB. I'm up in Lancaster, California, and I'm a Vietnam veteran. I was in NATO for 6 years in Germany, and after the military, I went to truck driving school and became a truck driver for 20 years. This incident happened the last year I was driving a truck. It happened on May 7th, 2002, at an approximately 4:30 in the morning on Interstate 8 exits 140 in Arizona. I just picked up a load of produce in Yuma, Arizona. I left Yuma, Arizona, and I had to take a whiz. Whiz. Where did that even come from? Who came up with whiz? I got to take a whiz. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I'm spiderwebbing here. So I pulled off the road and stopped at exit 140 on Interstate 8. I pulled off the exit ramp there, and I had my high beams on, and I noticed a figure to the left side of the exit ramp. A tall, dark figure on the left side of the exit ramp. So I went to the right side of the exit ramp, slowed down, stopped, turned off my headlights. I could see a large humanoid figure standing there, holding a carcass of some sort in its hand. Well, it dropped the carcass on the ground and turned around and looked at me for 4 or 5 seconds, and then started walking over towards my truck. I said, holy bleep. I locked the door on my truck, made sure it was locked, and it was approaching the window of my truck. It stopped about 2 feet from the window of my truck. Its head was as high as the window of my truck. I'm driving a conventional, so the window is about 7 feet off the ground. The head of this being was slightly above the head of the window. What is the head of a window? The head of this being was slightly above the head of the window. I guess maybe it means the lowest part of the pane. So it had to be at least 7 feet tall, 7'2", in that vicinity. So I reached up and grabbed my camera out of the storage department and turned the camera towards the window, and it was looking at me through the window just as I was moving the camera over. It turned on a bright light right in my face. It was so bright, I couldn't look at it. So I took my camera and flashed a picture at it. The creature, stepped back as if slightly startled for a second. Then it kind of gave me an oddball grinning expression. Looked at me a couple more seconds, turned its head, and then when it turned its head, I got a real good look at its profile of its skull and head, and it started walking away along the left of my truck. Oh, that's what it kind of looked like, I guess. Yeah. What the hell? I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at for a head. I don't know why it's blurry. I wish he would have taken some time and taken a better picture of his drawing there. But that does look really bizarre. Is this the actual photo of him flashing a picture of it, shining a light at him? As it was walking away, I turned on my headlights and got a real good look at its backside and its legs. And then I saw what it was walking towards. At that time, the sun was starting to peek out over the top of the mountains, and there was enough light that I could see a large black object sitting in an empty parking lot next to the exit ramp. It walked up to the large black object, and it just disappeared inside. I didn't see how it got inside. And then I turned on my spotlight, and I could see some of the texture on the outside of this, and it looked like the side of a wall of a tomb is what it looked like. And then it started to rise up off the ground. It made no sound. It got up about 10 to 15 feet above the ground, and the vehicle vetted out some red stuff. I could see red stuff shooting out from the back and sides, and then I could see it was a triangle shape. I could see underneath it, and it had 3 tiny marker lights on each corner of the triangle. Dull red light in the middle, and it accelerated away and was out of sight in about 3 seconds. When it had rose up, it was silhouetted against the morning sun, and it was making the sky bright enough to see it was a triangle-shaped vehicle. I had never seen anything like it. Oh, there's a better picture of the face. How could you tell if that was grinning? It looks like it's not an extraordinarily expressive face. And I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm just like, how do you know that that was a smile of some kind? I guess that must be the light that was on top of its head. I'm just guessing. I don't know. So what happened is I waited about 5 minutes. When I knew the being in the vehicle was gone and I unlocked the door, I had my camera with me and I had 5 pictures left on my camera. Got out of the truck and walked across the street off the exit ramp and see what this being had dropped on the side of the exit ramp. And when I got over there, I shined the flashlight on it, and I was surprised that it was a carcass of some kind. Looking at the hooves, I could tell it was a deer. The deer's head was bit cleanly off, and it had discolored fur around its neck. The inside of the deer, the chest cavity, was all completely removed. Its internal organs were all ripped out of the back of the spine. The internal cavity was burned out. Lon has a note here. He goes on to say that for a couple of months afterward, he would travel back and forth from New York to Yuma and would observe similar looking deer and animal carcasses along that same exit ramp. He photographed all of them. Is this one of them? Man, that guy needs a better camera. That's the bit off head, right? So that's where the head should be in front of that, but it's not there. Wow. Okay. Well, that's creepy as hell. I mean, it's probably a quick way to die. I'm sure it's not like tormenting the things, but that's crazy. This is kind of an AI depiction of it, but interesting story. I've never heard one like that before. Again, I've heard that people have encountered these reptilians, but that's a pretty interesting take that it was seeing it. It sounds like that's like the place it likes to hunt deer for whatever reason. Like it keeps coming back and zapping new ones. So I wonder if this was a weapon he saw that it was carrying or something. I don't know. I wish this was a clearer picture. We got this one, but that I think is right here. But I wish it would have included, what is all this other stuff? What is he writing there exactly? And it seemed to have some kind of backpack on, I guess. But interesting stuff. Wow. This sounds more like the Outer Limits, 90s to 2000 series. Well, yeah, I mean, truth is stranger than fiction, Grandizer. That's for sure. I don't know. Never seen anything like that. I don't know if I'd want to. I think it'd be kind of interesting, but also incredibly unnerving. It's like, oof, what do these guys want? You know? Again, I mean, they must be intelligent, right? Because it's driving something. It's piloting a craft. So, I mean, I'm sure they're probably much smarter than we are. But whenever I think of reptilian, I think alligator. I think snakes. I think, lizards, that kind of stuff. and generally speaking, they're not incredibly emotional things. Now, I think they have capacity for emotion. I don't mean to, suggest they don't. But generally, like alligators, they're hungry, they'll eat. They're not hungry, they won't eat. They'll just, sit and wait. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect from something like that, to be honest with you. I've seen head towards off by passing trucks. Oh, well, that could be too. I mean, certainly could clip a head off of some of them, and maybe that would be some of what he's seeing. What if it wasn't really a predation kill? What if this thing was just grab and roadkill? Like, hey, it's a quick snack. Very interesting take. That's a good point, John. I'm wondering if that weapon is similar to, I forgot his name. He was in a fight underground with some Marines and reptilians. Well, I'm thinking of Phil Schneider, but it wasn't really reptilians. It was Greys. That was the Dulce base incident with Phil Schneider. And these were the tall Greys. And he got zapped, and I guess it opened up his chest and removed part of his hand. And the only reason he didn't die is because apparently the Green Beret that was with him jumped in front and saved his life, although apparently the Green Beret had passed in the exchange. But absolutely crazy stuff. Yeah. Is that valid? Well, maybe. I mean, I wasn't there, but I have listened to Phil Schneider's talks, and Phil was an incredibly interesting character. And I don't mean character as in a caricature, but he just had seen or experienced something that's a very intelligent man as well. If you listen to him talk, he's a pretty compelling speaker, talking about his experiences. So do I know for sure that what Phil experiences is real? No, but he tells a pretty good story. And it kind of has me believing he did see things and experience things and had inside track on a lot of things. This story was not scary, more gore than scary. Yeah, I'm not really trying to scare you guys usually. Just like to talk about the crazy, weird stuff that goes on. I live by Mel's Hole. This area is a hot zone for activity. That's Lays and Blaze. Nice to meet you, Lays and Blaze. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. Yeah, Mel's Hole. That's over in Washington State then, yeah? You're just a stone's throw away from me. I'm in the middle of upper tip of Idaho, up in a town called Sandpoint. I'm up in Sandpoint. There's got to be some truth to all these stories about lizards and greys. I think you're right, Devin. I mean, are all these people making it up? Maybe some of them are, but everybody? And that's where I kind of fall apart with this stuff. Oh, Lays, I love that story. I miss Art Bell. I think we all do, Sarah. Art was the guy that he cut the path that all of us are walking on. There's no question. Art was a visionary, a great guy. I never knew him, but I had obviously ultimate respect for the guy. So, yeah, the world misses Art Bell for sure, but we have a lot to thank. I personally have a lot to thank him for because he really did make a lot of this possible. I prefer to get scared. Well, probably listening to the wrong show, Grandizer. Honestly, I never try to pull up stories to terrify people at all. That's never my objective. My objective is to discuss and dive into this stuff. What do you think it is? What do you think's going on here? Let's talk about possibilities. So that's where the portal, I hope, is different. I love Iron Maiden too. Run to the hills. Great song. All right. Well, we are going to cruise into the next part. What time do we have? 8:26. Oof. How are we going to squeeze in all of this? I still got to do some ghost stories here, eh? All right. We're going to dive into a story. This is an article from today.com. And I think this is the Today Show website. And they posted this. When was this posted? What was the date this was posted? Oh, this is from 2022. This article is by Sarah Lemire, I think or Lemire. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Sarah Lemire. And it's 15 real ghost stories that'll leave you scared stiff. I don't know, Grandizer, you might be in luck. I haven't pre-read this, so I don't know what we're getting into here, but let's dive into this. This is some ghost stories. I promised you some ghost stories on the teaser, on the promotion poster, and by God, I'm a man of my word. Let's get into this. It says, these tales of unexplained encounters and paranormal occurrences just might make a believer out of you. Well, I think if you're listening to the show, you probably, at the least, you've got an open mind. But maybe not. Maybe you're here just to make fun of it. But it's up to you. I don't have any dog in the fight or horse in the race or whatever the hell you say. And again, this is by Sarah Lemire. And again, this is today.com. So 2 years ago, but let's see what it says. I'm not going to read all of her setup here. But the first story that she cites in here, and I wonder if this included some of Hayes' favorite tales. Hayes tells today. I just want to know, we spoke to ghost experts. I hate that term experts. There's no experts. There are enthusiasts, there are researchers, there are theorists, but there are no experts. And other knowledgeable sources on the subject, including Derek Hayes, host of Monsters Among Us, a podcast in which callers anonymously share details of encounters they can't explain. Okay, so Monsters Among Us, that's a great show. They do a hell of a job as well. So that's a good one. So the first one is the Grandmas in the Cemetery. Let's check it out. Jeff, a resident of Dayton, Ohio, was driving with his 3-year-old son, Miles, in the back seat. And when they passed by a modest cemetery decorated with only flowers and small plaques, and it basically looks like a giant garden, Jeff explains. And that was on the podcast Monsters Among Us. According to Jeff, as they drove by, his toddler, who'd been happily singing, abruptly stopped, pointed to the cemetery, and exclaimed, "Look at all those people." Oh, that's crazy. Jeff turned to look and didn't see a soul, and confused, he asked Miles what he was talking about. "All those people over there," his son replied, "and they sure are a lot of grandmas." As Jeff tells it, chills ran down his spine as he asked his son what the people were doing. "Well, they're all standing there looking down at the grass," Miles said. He says completely unsettled by the conversation. Yeah, I don't blame you. Jeff sped up and drove home. Later that same day, he said his young son was watching TV when he turned to Jeff and said, "You know, they weren't alive." Ooh. Yeah, so the kid did know he wasn't looking at living people. Ooh, that's a heavy story. Thinking Miles was referring to the cartoon, Jeff asked what he meant. "Those people we saw, they were all paused." He says paused. That's interesting. That's an interesting choice of words. Like they were frozen. His son replied, "I don't know if my kid has sixth sense," Jeff says, "or if he just has a wild imagination." Well, again, I think you got to believe the kids. At least listen intently and don't dismiss it, because not that every kid is always completely upfront with or understands what they're seeing or even is seeing something for sure, but you definitely got to listen and pay attention to what they're saying, because God, it breaks my heart. And I don't think parents are doing it maliciously. I said this many times through the course of the show, but a lot of parents are like, "Oh, it's just your imagination. Oh, you just had a nightmare. Oh, you know what? You're just thinking about something you saw on TV or something." Just dismissing it. Meanwhile, these kids are dealing with something that's, in many cases, is incredibly traumatic. And they go to the safe place that they have, and that's the parents. And they're like telling the parents something that's truly troubling. And the parents are like, "Oh, it's just your imagination. You just had a nightmare. Just go back to sleep. It's okay. There's no monster. There's nobody in your closet." And they send these kids back. And so these kids now are all alone in this experience, and they're obviously tormented. So listen to your kids, listen to your kids, listen to your kids. Don't dismiss what they're saying. Talowich says, "All my children have seen things. Can I make it a point to make them feel safe that we can talk about it?" Yeah, I think so. I think you have to, because they're experiencing something. And so you are the one place that they can go. And I think it's important that you give that your sincerity and you listen. Now, through the narrative, you might figure out, oh, I think this is this or this is that, or help them at least understand and learn to process it, I think is the big thing. But to just say, oh, and I think parents do it because they just want their kid to not be afraid. They don't want their kid to be terrorized and traumatized by what they think is not real. Well, for the kid, it's very real. Even if it is imaginary, it can be an imaginary fear. But for kids, they don't distinguish between their made up stuff sometimes and the real stuff going on around them really clearly. And you got to kind of dig into it with them. But yeah, listen to your kids, because honestly, I can't tell you how many stories I've covered on the show where the first indicators of a haunting beginning were the kids. The kids are like an early warning system, really. That and animals. Usually it's pets first and then the kids. And these little children will have huge, robust discussions with somebody that is as real as you or me in front of them, but we can't see. And so, yeah, they definitely shouldn't be left alone to sort through that themselves. Very good story. I really think that would be excellent. Now, I will say, I've heard another story very similar to that. Well, actually several through the years. Another one was this family was driving along. Actually, it was a mom and her little 3-year-old kid or something was sitting in the back. And they passed by a cemetery as they were driving. And the child was like, "Oh, wow, Mommy, look at all the children playing." And the mommy's like, What children? And then the child pointed and said, "There," and pointed out the window to the cemetery. This child was seeing little children's spirits running around or playing, or at least little small spirits. Maybe they were small and just assumed they were children. They might have been something else. Who knows? But it's like, oh my God. So for the kids, they can just tune into that stuff so much easier than us. Good night, John. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in. My one grandson never met my mom and picked her out of a picture at an age of 6 and said the lady with the fire hair, she had red hair, comes to me at night. Oh, that's beautiful, Sinfully Wicked. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful story. I believed immediately. Yeah, I would too. Yeah. Don't live by cemeteries. You're right, Lays and Blaze. Cemeteries definitely seem to and I'm not sure it's the people that actually passed that are lingering there, but there does seem to be things that linger at cemeteries. Maybe they were never human. Maybe they're just something else, but they can sometimes make their way to the houses nearby. I guess it gets pretty quiet in cemeteries. You probably need something to distract yourself from. So yeah, I don't think I would live near a cemetery. I don't think I would mind, honestly. I actually, to be full disclosure, honest, I find cemeteries very peaceful and comforting. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because, I don't know. I really don't know why, but I've always found them to be really nice places. I don't really ever remember going into a cemetery and feeling like, this is really spooky. Brent, I bet you do great Three Stooges impressions. Don't hold back. Local Squatch. Not really. I don't do Three Stooges too much. I mean, I just do a little curly, just that nyuk nyuk, I love the Three Stooges though. That's funny you should say that. I bet you've never been in the cemetery at 2 a.m. Bet you I have. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not like a person that goes out of my way to linger in cemeteries at 2 a.m, but I've been in cemeteries at 2 a.m. And I mean, obviously it's a different feel at night, but it still wasn't creepy. It was just, I don't know. It's like a serene, and maybe it's the cemetery. Maybe there's certain cemeteries that be absolutely horrible, but the ones where I have been in at night, I haven't been extraordinarily freaked out. You can feel that you're being watched. I'll say that. But again, I've lived in haunted houses. So, and I'm not patting myself on the back or so, oh, not me. I'm all manly. It's not like that. It's just that for the most part, I don't know. I just have never, when I'm researching, I never have felt that something horrible was trying to hurt me. And maybe it's, again, I don't do a ton of researching, but I've done several. And I haven't been to any place that was allegedly demonically haunted or something, but I've been in places that were, pretty significantly haunted and had really great experiences, but they were really kind of peaceful. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of a side note, but this is the ghost of the Stanley Hotel is the next one. And this is, again, the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, has been around for more than 100 years and was built as a posh getaway for the wealthy seeking solitude in the mountains. Well, as the years passed, however, occupancy declined, and in the 70s, the Grand Hotel had fallen into disrepair. It was around that time that famed author Stephen King spent the night there and was inspired to write the book The Shining. Oof. Yeah, I've never been to the Stanley Hotel, but I'd love to go there. The book and blockbuster film helped return the Stanley to its former glory. Now guests come in droves to see the hotel that inspired one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Given its history, it should come as no surprise that many visitors report strange happenings, aware of the ghostly rumors. Texas resident Henry Yao booked a last-minute getaway in April of 2016 to check it out. After arriving, he had dinner, wandered around the Stanley to take some photos. Stopping at a staircase, he waited for people to clear the area and then took a picture, thinking nothing of it. This is the picture. I wish we could blow that up. That definitely looks like a person standing there. Looks like a woman in a dark kind of form-fitting dress. It looks like that. I could be absolutely wrong. Could be in a suit of some kind, but that's just what I can see. He said on the trip home, Yao began swiping through the photos he'd taken, and he discovered what he said was a really, really strange image of someone standing on the stairs. Except nobody'd been there. The next day, he posted the photo on Instagram, half joking that he captured a ghost, and the world took notice. Almost overnight, Yao found himself in the limelight with his ghost picture warranting attention from global media outlets and paranormal experts. Experts. There you go again. Who wanted to examine the photo. Some experts say that there's 2 ghosts, and other people said that the reason I got sick is because the ghost was trying to materialize, taking energy out of me. He said, there's so many theories about this. What does Yao think? I have no idea, he says with a laugh. What do you mean 2 spirits, though? Where's the second one? Huh. I'm not seeing 2 there, though. I'm only seeing 1. What about you guys? Anybody picking up on another one? Somewhere maybe I'm not seeing, but it looks like it's all right there where the red circle is. Thank God for the red circles. But maybe they think there's 2 together there. I don't know. I'm not seeing that personally. But anyway, I'd love to see I'd love to hear that story. I'd love to see a bigger version of it that you could really zoom into. But I think, the resolution's going to be real bad. Even if I grabbed that image and put it in Photoshop and zoomed it, I think it would just get really pixelated quick. But good capture. That's a great capture. Whaley House is next. Can we all just call ourselves experts and become one? Because if so, well, I'm an expert at something, I think, for sure. I don't know. I think you can. You just got to grab that title and say, I'm an expert. There's a lot of people doing it, especially in the paranormal. Now, actually, most experts aren't naming themselves experts, or most people that are regarded as experts don't say, hey, I'm an expert. It's just that's a lot of the ways that they're presented by media and such. Oh, he's a paranormal expert. He's a UFO expert. Really? There's no such thing. But anyway, the Whaley House, everybody's heard of that place. I don't know if I want to deal with that one or not. Kind of Lizzie Borden house, again, not really interested in that one. The Ghost of Captain Joseph White. That sounds like a good one. Though Salem, Massachusetts is best known for its infamous witch trials, there have been plenty of other chilling stories throughout its 400-year history. I'd love to go to Salem. I've never been there. One of them is the tale of Captain Joseph White, a wealthy merchant who was found bludgeoned to death in his bed. Oh, poor guy. It was a crime motivated by money, clearly. According to Giovanni Alabiso, owner and tour guide at the Salem Historical Tours, who says that the 82-year-old merchant was allegedly targeted by greedy brothers hoping to get their hands on his will. Horrible. Brothers Joseph and Francis Knapp enlisted the help of Richard Crowninshield to help them get the job done. Late in the evening, when Captain White was asleep, Dick Crowninshield... I'm sorry. That name's killing me. Dick Crowninshield comes in. He goes upstairs to the second floor and takes a club and bashes the captain over the head and crushes his skull. Alabiso tells Today.com. The murder resulted in a scandalous trial and is said to be inspiration for Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, as well as the game Clue. Ooh. Whether it's the brutal nature of the crime or revenge for the attempt to steal his money, the spirit of Captain Joseph White is still said to wander the halls of his former home. People believe Captain White is roaming around that house protecting whatever treasure he reportedly has, Alabiso said. Tourists take photos of the house, and despite being empty, many pictures reveal shadowy pictures, both male and female, shadowy figures rather, male and female, in the windows and on the landing of the Gardner Pingree house. Who are they? Well, nobody knows. It's definitely absolutely active, Alabiso says. But there's no photos that we can see. It looks like a beautiful place, though. Looks like a beauty. The Haunted Ventriloquist Doll. God, when I was at, the old hospital that I investigated. Why am I drawing a blank on that name? But they had this room with all kinds of old dolls in it. Some of them were real creepy, like made to look creepy, and some of them were just creepy because they were creepy old dolls. But there was a ventriloquist doll in there, and I fully expected that thing to turn its head and look at me, but it never did. It never moved. But what was that called, that hospital? God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Ignatius. Thank you, Barbara. St. Ignatius. Oh, my brain. Yeah, St. Ignatius Hospital, when I investigated there with Charles and Don. And we had a great time, just not a lot of activity there, but a lot of history. A lot of history. But there was that doll room, and I streamed it live. You can watch that live stream. At least part of it. There was 2 nights we investigated there. I streamed on one night, and then we went in and I recorded a lot for the next night. I still have the videos of that I haven't made into a video yet, but it's on my buckets of to-do lists. And that doll room was peculiar. Nothing there felt horrible or dark and ugly, but it was just, there was an intense vibe to the place, though. But we didn't have much of anything manifest in the form of evidence. I brought the yes-no detector, the pyramid with the green light and red light on it. And that went off briefly once or twice, and then it stopped. Everything went dead. Not battery dead, just the activity, just that little bit of time. And just wandered through the place, but it smelled like a hospital, I'll tell you that. Even in its decrepit state, it still smelled like a hospital. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but hospitals have a specific kind of smell. I spent a lot of time in them, so I just know that smell. It's part of my maybe my genetic identity now, but that part disturbed me more than the fact that it's allegedly haunted. Actually, we got a lot more activity in the haunted bed or Airbnb that we stayed in. A lot more. Nothing horrible, nothing really taunting or bad, but just some pretty expressive activity. I think there was a portal in that house. I really do, because my REM pod was just screaming nonstop in that place, in the kitchen. He wouldn't stop. It was crazy. So, and then the yes and no detector, only one side would stay lit, but it stayed lit constantly, like something was causing that thing to go off, and it was crazy. And then when I turned it around to test it, then the other side lit up for whatever was on this side was doing something. But I don't think it was just a presence there. I think there was a field there that was really interfering with it. So 2 different types of detectors, both going off for a long time. I spent 7 years intently studying the Sasquatch people and the evidence that they leave around. in the area of the country where I live. There is no label. Yeah. That's a lot of years. Good for you. All right. So the haunted ventriloquist doll, we'll read this one. Let me look at the time. We're not going to get time for the cryptids tonight, which is fine because we do the cryptids a hell of a lot on this show. But we'll make sure to hit the cryptids next Wednesday again. It says when Marty was a child back in the 90s, she tells Monsters Among Us that she was a fan of ventriloquist Edgar Bergen and his dummy sidekick, Charlie McCarthy. Oh, yeah, Edgar Bergen. She says that when her father came across a ventriloquist doll, as he wandered through a small magic shop located outside of Santa Rosa, California, he decided to buy it for her birthday. While ringing up the sale, Marty said the cashier gave her father weird vibes and said to him, you know, when you put your hand inside the doll, he's going to come alive. Yeah. Okay, that's a little creepy. Laughing off the comment, he brought the dummy home to his daughter. According to Marty, she was over the moon when her dad gave her the doll, saying, I was so happy when I got that doll. I was obsessed. But before long, strange things began happening. Though impossible because the doll's head was made of hard plastic, she says its expressions would change, including his smile. Oh, that's interesting. Well, worried about that something would happen to her precious dummy, Marty's father... To her precious dummy. Marty's father shut it away in a cupboard on most nights. One night, she and her family were awakened by a pitter-patter of steps in their living room, and thinking it was a dog or another family member, they went to look. No one was there except for the doll, who was sitting on the couch. That's creepy. We remember specifically, we always put it away because I love that doll so much that I took care of it, Marty says on the podcast. Other strange occurrences began happening while Marty and her dad were away. Her uncle was alone in the house, and the uncle says he heard Marty's father calling his name from the living room, even though he wasn't there. Oof. Then he went to look. He found the doll once again sitting on the couch. No one was there. All of our family was pretty much scared of the doll. That poor family. It started off as a great gift idea, and it ended up being like Satan's toy. Marty says people would start hearing their names being called, and we would hear walking at night, so we just decided we needed to get rid of it. Being Mexican and religious, Marty says her parents wanted to burn the doll in case it was demonic. They put it on the grill, and according to Marty, it wouldn't burn. This doll would not go up in flames at all, whatsoever. We tried cutting it up with a knife, but were unsuccessful, and finally they threw it in the trash can. And after the garbage was collected, Marty's dad went to retrieve the bin. In it, the doll. Oh, God, that's horrible. To rid themselves of the dummy, they dug a hole in the backyard and then filled it with cement. They definitely wanted that doll done. That's kind of too bad. I think that'd be kind of cool to have something like that. I know it's a weird thing to say, but I don't know. Just imagine. And I think that's why people that are into the paranormal collect dolls that are supposedly haunted, is because, I mean, you've got an investigation opportunity anytime you want it. If you've got a potentially haunted object, I mean, you could just put a live stream cam up on it and just let it go and record. I mean, hell, you might catch something. I've seen some pretty interesting videos of potentially dolls, moving, making slight movements. And I do think that there's something to the idea that spirits can inhabit a doll. Again, there was a time when I was definitely researching dolls. And because I wanted to understand, I had heard this long ago, so I thought I'd research it and dig into it, and I researched. And if any of you have any idea or can research this as well, I'd love more information. But the actual origins of dolls is really peculiar in that largely it doesn't seem like they were ever intended to be children's playthings at all. One of the original claims for the purpose of dolls was to be housing for the dead. Like it was going to be, they were created in order to be vessels for spirits. And, I guess that kind of changes it quite a bit, but it's also, I believe the reason that the Amish don't allow faces on their dolls is that if you put a face on it, then it can become inhabited by something evil. And I don't know, dolls are evil, Local Squatch says. Yeah. I mean, again, 99% of the dolls out there, 99.9% of the dolls out there are going to be just benign plastic playthings. But what if? What if? That's all I'm saying. What if? So I think we'll read the one more. What time is it? Yeah, I think we can read this one more, The Imaginary Friend. Again, this is kids imaginary friends is a pretty interesting concept. I never had any imaginary friends. I never really knew anybody that I recall when I was a kid that had imaginary friends. But of course, I think we've all heard of this. And sometimes these friends aren't so imaginary. I think sometimes these kids are actually speaking to spirits, but the parents just chalk it up as, oh, it's an imaginary friend. Because who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to little Bobby. Where's little Bobby? Oh, he's standing right there. Well, then parent goes, oh, okay, imaginary friend. He's got an imaginary friend. Okay. And maybe Bobby really is standing right there. But again, kids see things we don't. Not that it's every kid, not that it's every imaginary friend, but I think it's something you gotta at least consider. Well, here you go. Let's see. Jacqueline from Oklahoma says that while her memories have faded over the years, she recalls having an imaginary friend when she was young. Her grandparents, Granny Junie and Pa Hank, that was how she called them, I guess, lived in a small home with a quiet backyard, and Jacqueline recalls visiting them as a child. I have very good memories of my Pa Hank, Jacqueline says on the podcast Monsters Among Us. That's really cool. They must have had some really good interviews. He would sit under the tree with me and tell me stories. The stories were often about his life and memories of Prohibition, she says, and he was actually a very interesting character. The only problem, her grandfather died in 1981, and Jacqueline was born in 1982. Oh, wow. That's really cool. So she was hanging out with her grandfather. Huh. I don't think I ever realized that I was getting stories from a ghost, she says, adding that the rest of her family knew of his presence in the house. My Granny Junie would never stay in the house on the anniversary of his death, she says. He did die in the house. Jacqueline also recalls Pa Hank getting up in the middle of the night when she was staying at the house, and it never occurred to me that these were memories of an entity, she said. In hindsight, Jacqueline says that even though her childhood imaginary friend was actually her dead grandfather, it cast a different light because it was a relative and not a stranger. It never felt like ghosts. It felt like talking to my Pa Hank. Oh, that's kind of sweet, though. That's a sweet story. I think about like my grandmother, and I love my grandmother dearly. She was just such an important figure in my life, and I feel sad that my youngest son was never able to meet her. That the minion never got a chance to meet her before she passed. But and I wish that she could have known him, or he could have known her, just because she was such a loving and compassionate soul. And how neat is it that some people have a chance still to know those people in a situation like this. And this is exceptionally rare. Doesn't come up much, but it does come up. And how cool is that? So anyway, very cool story. That's a great article. I'm going to put a link to this article in the chat if you guys want to read more. I did skip over some and just read a few things, but I think it's a great article, and this is today.com again. So please, give it a shot. There's more to this article still. I think we've covered quite a few of the stories, or at least a handful of them. but I think there's more that you may be interested in. So I put it in the chat so you guys can check it out and help support today.com. All right. Where are we at? It's literally almost 9 o'clock. We didn't get to the cryptids tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're okay with that. But we've done the cryptids a lot for a long time here on the show. And so, you know, we got to get back to the ghosts every once in a while. It is the Halloween season after all. So I think it's so cool that you guys are here always. I think about that every time. It's like, wow, it's so neat to do a show and know that you guys are here being a part of it. So thank you so much for all your love and support. And thank you for letting people know about these shows. Watch for the podcast as well. If you're not familiar with it, we do have a podcast, or I do have a podcast, and that is an audio only, but I do have videos. I haven't made any videos for the last 2 episodes yet. I've got to do that. That's got to be on my to-do list real soon here because I'm falling behind. Just trying to keep up, but I've been just this last week, I've just been in so many meetings and conferences and doing so much on the side with side business for the portal. And I've got this next Tuesday is just going to be a mad run of things going on because I've got to be on a show at 8 a.m. I've got to do an interview at like 10 a.m. And then that evening I've got to be on another show. And so it's going to be 3 shows plus trying to get video stuff done. So I don't know. But anyway, thank you all so much for what you do. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of my world and a part of my dream. And thank you for helping my dream to continue to form. Again, we're so close to that 14,000 subscriber mark. And I get excited about that because every one of those 1,000 means, you know, that we're growing, and it's a very tangible thing for me. It's making me mad as hell. That's the count freezes and goes reverse for like 10 or 15 people and then climbs up slowly again. And it'll kick back and forth. And then finally, after several days, it'll click that 1,000 mark and then it'll be normal again. I don't know what the hell that is. Maybe I'm being tormented. I don't know. But if you know of anybody that might enjoy the shows, interview me sometime. It'd be fun. Well, if you want to be on my podcast, if you have experiences you'd like to share, go to paranormalportal.net, paranormalportal.net. That's literally it. One word, Paranormal Portal as one word and .net. And on that page, that's the homepage for all things Paranormal Portal, you'll find all the social media links that I have available. And so I'd appreciate if you'd follow the show on all of those. And as well, there's an interview me button there. So if you've got stories you'd like to share and be a guest on my podcast, I'd love to interview you. So hit the interview me button and that'll launch my calendar app. And you can pick a date and time from the dates and times available. Find one that works for you and we'll get together and have a discussion. It's all pre-recorded. Don't worry. It's not live. Nothing to worry about. The beauty of pre-recording is that we can take our time. If something needs to be reset or something needs to be edited because it wasn't said right, that's all possible. So, just love to have you on there. So again, paranormalportal.net. Thank you, Rachel, for posting that in there. I appreciate that in the chat. Click the interview me button, click a date, time, and it'll send me an email. It'll send you an email and we'll both be notified and then we'll connect. I'd love to talk to you guys. Always looking for new interviews. So please feel free. I love hearing from people in person when they've got stories to share. So I guess it's going to wrap it up for now. This is the last show of this week because it's the last day of this week. Unless you count Sunday as the last day or the first day. I usually figure Sunday's the first day. But anyway, at any rate, I'll see you guys next Wednesday for sure on the live stream. So I hope you'll join me then. We do these live streams every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday on whatever platform you're watching now. It'll be available. And hello to anybody over on Twitch hanging out. Thank you so much for listening and giving us a shot. But appreciate if you keep coming back. We'd love to see you guys and continue to watch this grow. So that's about all we got time for tonight. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the journey. And thank you so much for being a part of my world. I suggest interviews, but you'd have to reach out to them. Yeah, you've suggested many, and they sound wonderful. But again, I really don't really headhunt a lot of interviews. I end up hearing from people more than not that they want to come on the show, and that pretty much takes up most of my time. What I need is probably to have somebody that does do that, headhunts interviews for me. I don't know. There's a lot of things. I'm a one-man show, so there's only so much I can do and still keep up with life. So at any rate, great to see you all. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, whatever you're doing. Carve your pumpkins, get them out on the steps, and light them up at night. Get some pictures. I want to see your pumpkins. I think that'll be cool. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Just remember, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, and find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Remember, try out magicmind.com/portal. Helps to support the show, and it's some great stuff. I think you guys will like it. So at any rate, that's our journey. So take care. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. You guys take care of yourself.